The motorcycle's engine had barely cooled when the little boy ran across the cracked driveway, tiny feet slapping the concrete, eyes wide with something between fear and hope. The leather-clad rider had only meant to stop for directions, but the moment the child tugged at his gloved hand, the world around them seemed to freeze. The wind stopped, the dust settled, and even the engine's metallic ticking quieted. What the boy said next would punch straight through the ribs of the toughest man alive and change the course of 3 lonely lives forever. Before the story unfolds, if you believe in kindness, redemption, and second chances, please like this video, drop a comment, share it, and subscribe to the channel. It truly supports the stories we tell. The house behind the child looked exhausted, like it had weathered too many storms and too many disappointments. Paint peeling, screen door hanging crooked, patches of dead grass strangling the front yard. A woman stood on the porch. The boy's mother, thin and tired, arms wrapped around herself as if holding together what life kept trying to break apart. Her eyes were wary, protective, apologetic all at once, the way only a single mother's eyes can be. She wasn't expecting visitors, certainly not a hulking biker with the insignia of feared outlaws stitched across his back. The rider, a road-worn man who had spent half his life outrunning memories, and the other half pretending he didn't have a heart, crouched down. The boy grabbed his hand again, tighter this time, as if grounding himself, and in that fragile moment the rider noticed the small details most people overlooked. The boy's overalls were faded from too many washes, his hair uncombed, his cheeks flushed from running, but his eyes held something rare, trust, a trust he hadn't earned, yet the boy was offering it anyway. What came next was whispered, but it carried the weight of years. The child didn't ask for candy or a toy or a ride on the shiny motorcycle. He asked for something no child should ever have to think about. Something he must have rehearsed silently for days, maybe months, waiting for someone, anyone, strong enough to hear it. He asked the rider to take his mom, not away from him, not away permanently, just away from the loneliness, the fear, the exhaustion, away from the world that had forgotten her goodness. He wanted someone to take care of her the way she spent every second taking care of him. The rider felt a crack inside his chest where he thought no vulnerability remained. It was a strange thing, to be someone feared on highways, yet to crumble instantly under the soft touch of a child asking for hope. The mother rushed forward, mortified, telling her son not to bother the man, apologizing through clenched teeth and trembling lips. But the rider stood, shaking his head gently, and told her without words that she didn't need to apologize. He had seen desperation many times, on the faces of burly men in bar fights, on the faces of friends burying brothers, but never had it hit him like this. Here was a woman who was fighting battles no one saw, quiet battles, invisible battles, and here was a child who understood far more than he should. The rider learned in small pieces how they ended up here. Her husband had walked out 2 years earlier. No note, no goodbye. Just the hollow scrape of the front door closing one last time. Since then, she had been juggling a part-time job, overdue bills, and the razor-sharp reality of raising a child alone. The house had been her parents' once. Now something she was struggling to keep from falling apart. Some days they lived off canned goods. Some days the electricity flickered. She tried to hide it from her boy, but children always know. They sense it in the silence at dinner. They feel it in the tremble of hands that tuck them into bed. As she spoke, she kept her distance, unsure if this stranger was danger or destiny. But the biker didn't step closer, didn't try to invade her space, didn't speak over her. He simply listened, something she hadn't been given in years. Listening felt like kindness. Listening felt like safety. When the boy tugged at the rider again, asking if he'd stay for just a little bit, something inside the man shifted. It had been a long time since anyone asked him to stay anywhere. People usually wanted him gone. He fixed the boy's broken toy car using tools from his saddlebag. He tightened the loose bolt on the shaky porch steps. He even checked the old motorcycle of hers sitting in the backyard, rusted and forgotten, promising, without promising, that he'd come back with parts to get it running again. The mother watched him closely, conflicted, afraid to hope but unable to ignore the gentleness in the way he moved or the respect in the way he looked at her. Never pitying, never judging. The sun dipped low, painting the house golden for the first time in months, maybe years. The rider knew he had to leave. His world wasn't built for softness. But as he went to mount his bike, the child wrapped tiny arms around his leg, anchoring him again in a way he didn't expect. He didn't cry, didn't beg this time. He just looked up with that same fragile trust. And the rider realized something. He didn't want to leave. Not really. He rumbled down the road slowly, watching them in his mirror, the child waving, the mother holding her son, both silhouettes glowing against the fading light. He thought of his own past, the mistakes, the loneliness, the empty highways that never filled the void inside him. He had been searching for something without knowing what it was. Now he knew. The next morning, when the mother opened her door, she froze. Sitting neatly by the steps was a box filled with groceries, new clothes for the boy, tools and parts for the old motorcycle. No note, just silent proof that someone still cared. He returned again that evening, and the evening after that, fixing small things around the house, teaching the boy how to tighten bolts, bringing laughter into a home that had forgotten the sound. Slowly, gently, he became part of their world, not because they needed rescuing, but because they deserved someone who stayed, and in return, they unknowingly rescued him too. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like the video, leave a comment, share it, and subscribe. It truly helps us keep telling stories that matter. Before the ending, please comment below. Kindness changes everything. In time, the house grew sturdier. The mother smiled more often. The boy didn't look scared anymore, and the biker, once a man defined by the road and the shadows behind him, found something he never thought existed for him, a reason to come home. For sometimes, all it takes is a brave little child, a tired single mother, and a man with a battered past to remind the world that, even in the harshest places, love can still grow.